all in my bladder, cheated on my baby. You can go and ask her. I was a movie, go right in the movie.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. All right. Welcome into the Hayden Coker Show, presented to you by Senator Lance Bell. Senator Lance Bell out of Pill City. Thank you, everybody, for joining in today. We've got a big show for you. Yes, that was karaoke. Now it's time to hone in on what the actual show's about. All right. It's college football. I know. Where's Waldo? I get it. I walked in Buffalo Wild Wings tonight, and the lovely people here said, "Hey, man, where's Waldo?" I found it. But it is what it is. We can't go anywhere without the "Where's Waldo" joke. Okay, now I get it. It's time to lay it to rest. So look down at the iPad here for a minute. I've got some big news for you. Okay, I've got some big news for you, and that big news is coming just right up here in just a second. But I want to mention the HCS Power 12 right here, right now, guys. We've got a lot going on with the HCS Power 12. Obviously, we've got none other than USF coming in at the big spot. Okay, number 12, USF. We know how those guys are, okay? Now, USF, good team, we get it, but they're about to fall out, okay? If they don't show me something soon, they're going to fall out. They are at that position right now for one reason and one reason only. Let me go ahead and tell you that. That is because you have schedules, okay? Schedules, this is all about layout, okay? They have the resume to be number 12 right now. You've got Indiana, who pummeled Illinois over the last weekend, okay? They jump into that 11 spot. You've got Tennessee. You've got Florida State at 9, A&M at 8. A&M, it got a big test this weekend as Auburn comes to town. You've got Penn State coming in at number 7, Oklahoma 6, Miami 5, Georgia 4, LSU coming in at number 3, Oregon 2, and then Ohio State 1. So this is all baked in, okay? What have we done this year? Hello, Justin Lindsay. Hope you're doing well. This is all baked into what we've had this year, okay? So week 5 now, and it's been great so far. We've got a lot to bake in over the next few weeks. This will all start to come together, okay? We've got the HCS Power 12 coming to you each week. We have here in, I believe, about a month and a half or a month and a week or so, about a month, you're going to have the college football playoff rankings coming out, okay? And then that's what everything is going to be solely based off of. So I'm excited for that. We've got that too. So a bunch of stuff happening, a bunch of good stuff happening. You've got some bad stuff happening. You've got injuries. You've got all that jazz. John Mateer going to be out. Got some officiating going on. I'm not going to say which game. You got some bad officiating going on. You've got some teams who should be winning games that are losing games. I'm going to point out anybody, Auburn. So it's all coming together. Obviously, this happens every single year in college football. That's why we love it. That's why we all know it. We all love it, okay? I'm not complaining about it one bit, okay? So we took a look at the HCS Power 12. Now let's kind of shift into this week, and I'll go back to the Power 12 here in a minute. But now we look at what happened this past weekend. You had Arkansas, who lost to Memphis, okay? That wasn't necessarily something that I expected. I expected for Arkansas to win that game. Was I shocked? I was not shocked, okay? Mike Washington had himself a game, but if you look on the other side of things, okay, Memphis had, for one, quarterback close to 200 yards receiving, quarterback over 100 yards rushing, and you also had a 100-yard receiver and a 100-yard rusher in your running back. So it doesn't shock me, no, that Memphis won the game. Memphis outplayed Arkansas. They were down in the third quarter. Arkansas was up by 2 possessions. Memphis ends up coming back, and they inch a little closer each and every time. And then Arkansas has the ball to take the lead late in the fourth quarter. They fumble the ball, okay? They're on the goal line. A field goal wins it. They try to run it in, and I'm not saying that I disagree with it. I understand. I understand the kneel out and all that jazz and whatever. Until the clock gets a little lower, then you pick the field goal to go ahead with no time on the clock. I understand. Excuse me. But I hate it because Mike Washington, he's one of the best running backs in the SEC. I firmly believe that. He's a very physical back. He'll run you over, and you don't want to get in his way. But he fumbles on the 1-yard line or 2-yard line, 3-yard line, somewhere around there. And then Memphis recovers. Memphis gets the ball, nails it out, and that's just that. So It is what it is. Arkansas, they've got to focus on their defense. They've got to work on it because it sucks. Okay, so Justin Lindsay chimes in, says, not even worried about the Georgia game. Georgia always struggles after half against Alabama. All right, now Justin, now that you've said that, we're all into it. So this is going to be a fun one. I won't make my prediction yet. This will be a fun one. Okay, you've got Gunnar Stockton, who has proven he can do exactly what guys like Stetson Bennett did. Okay, he proved that the other day in the Tennessee game a few weeks ago in Knoxville. So I don't get stressed out. All right, but this Georgia team, they have a quarterback. They've got a quarterback. They have a receiving game. They have a running game. The offensive line is good. The defense is back. So that's the thing for Alabama. Alabama, obviously, you have Ty Simpson, who has been one of the hottest quarterbacks in America. Okay, over the last few weeks, he's been phenomenal. Those words came out of Kirby Smart's mouth. I'm not taking anything away from Ty Simpson. I'm not taking anything away from the Alabama defense at all. What I am saying, and I want you to bear with me here, what I am saying is that, guys, we've got a long way to go. Okay, we've got a long way to go, and it's time for Ty Simpson and those guys to step into SEC play and really, really, really figure it out, okay? It's the first game in SEC play for Alabama. You've got to get rolling, okay? You can't have a slow start against Georgia and go down 30-0 like Georgia did to Bama last year. Okay, that's not what you. That's not something you can do. You can't afford it. You simply cannot afford it. Now, what I am saying is that Alabama. Hold on, Alabama. You get off to a fast start. All right, you've got to trade blows with Georgia. Okay, you're not going to go in there and you're not going to sling it all over the place. You're not going to go up 30-0 like you did last year. All right, this is going to be one of those games where Georgia is going to punch you in the mouth a few times. So you're going to have to respond whether you score first and then Georgia keeps punching back. Doesn't matter. It's going to be one of those games where each team is just barreling the crap out of each other. Just sucker punch after sucker punch after sucker punch. Okay, one of those teams is going to come out with an RKO or a body slam or an attitude adjustment late in the fourth quarter and win this game. That's going to happen, whether that's mid-fourth quarter, late fourth quarter, either way. That's going to happen at some point, okay? Alabama has got to go in. They've got to be able to run the ball. Coach Kalen DeBoer said earlier in the week, okay, Jam Miller, he's going to be ready. So Jam Miller, they were positive, or they had positive minds about Jam Miller going. Now I believe it's official. I believe that Jam Miller is going. It's official. I do believe anyways. So it's interesting. So now you've got a bunch of things going on there because we had injuries before. Now we can switch it up a little bit. We can talk about how Jam Miller being back. How's that going to affect Georgia? Okay. Well, Alabama's offensive line has proven this year that they are not the greatest. Okay. Obviously, first game of the season against Florida State, they weren't good. Not at all. By any stretch of the imagination, Alabama was not good against Florida State. Not even close. But here's the thing. So you bounce back. I get it. Cupcakes. It is what it is. It's whatever. Okay, 2 weeks ago, you make a statement win against Wisconsin. Wisconsin, as much as I hate to say it, they're one of the worst teams in the Power Four. I hate to say it. One of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Of all the Power Four, bottom of the barrel. I get it. I understand. But bear with me with what I'm saying, okay? Is that now now Alabama has their feet under. Ty Simpson, he's played a few games. He's gotten his confidence back. First game of the season in Tallahassee is just a tough way to start. Okay, I didn't expect Ty Simpson to bomb like the way he did, but it certainly wasn't an ideal start. Okay, but now you've got your feet under. You've got a little momentum rolling. You're like 41-46 over your last two games. So now is your time to really, really ease into SEC play and ease into this game against Georgia and get your feet under you. Okay. Now's the time. If you can't do it, you're going to lose the football game. Moving on. Auburn last week had a bad loss, man. Had a bad loss against the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, the Oklahoma Sooners, they came out, they hit Auburn in the mouth early, but they drove down the field. Auburn responds, forces a fumble. What happens after that? Well, if you think it got overturned, and they returned it for a touchdown, gets overturned. It's okay. Oklahoma kicks a field goal 3-0. Auburn kicks a field goal 3-0. Oklahoma goes up 10-3. Auburn scores 10-10. Oklahoma goes up 16-10, scores 2 field goals in the second half. Auburn scores a touchdown 17-16. They have a chance to win the game. They have a chance to run the clock out. No, didn't work out. Oklahoma's got the ball. Guess what's going to happen? They drive down the field. They score a touchdown. They try to go for 2. Don't get the 2-point conversion. John Mateer, absolute dog, even though injured. And then, obviously, you had the safety that made it 24-17. Oklahoma goes on to win that game. So now you have to live with that if you're Auburn, okay? You can talk about the bad officiating all you want to. I understand. I get it. I watched the game, so I do understand what you're talking about. Let's shift our gears for a second, okay? The offensive line and Jackson Arnold give up 10 sacks, okay? Now, the reason I say that, the offensive line didn't give up 10 sacks, okay? I'd give 2 or 3 or 4 of those to Jackson Arnold for sitting in the pocket for way too long. I'll point out a specific play from this game, all right? So, as I take a drink of the Buffalo Wild Wings sweet tea. Shout out to Buffalo Wild Wings, by the way, in Pearl City. Lovely people. Shout out to Miss Amber for being my waitress tonight. She's been phenomenal all night, always is. And you can always count on the people at Buffalo Wild Wings for great hospitality every time. So, yeah, come down to Buffalo Wild Wings in Pearl City and watch the show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Anyways, 3 or 4 sacks were on Jackson Arnold. I'll point out one of them. It was a play act. Well, it wasn't a play action. Well, I guess it was a play action. So you have the play action pass play. Jackson Arnold takes the handoff to Jeremiah Cobb. He drops back. Jeremiah Cobb goes to pick up a backer. The backer, and a good block, okay? The problem is a running back is not going to, and a lot of the times if the backer's coming downhill, they aren't going to stop the linebacker permanently, okay? The 2 clap, okay? So Cobb and the linebacker, they clap. Okay, then the backer gets upended. Then that's Jackson Arnold's time to step up in the pocket and run. No, he sits there for a minute longer, then waits to run. By then, the backer's already up, and Cobb's on the ground after laying a good block. And the backer tackles Jackson Arnold for a sack. That's just one of the few examples. Another late in the game, you had start of the third quarter, Jackson Arnold, he sits in the pocket, defensive end comes off the edge, and boom. It was the defensive end that came into the game. The defensive end that came into the game to start the second half because he had got ejected from the last game due to a targeting call. So that's on Jackson Arnold, okay? He sat in the pocket for way entirely too long. So those are just 2 examples of a few that I feel like I could give you. And it's not all on the offensive line, okay? It's not all on the offensive line. I get it. The O-line was not great by any stretch of the imagination. But let's not sit here and act like a little bit of it wasn't on Jackson Arnold, okay? A few missed throws as well, okay? You could have had a touchdown to Cam Coleman wide open in the end zone. And he just overthrows him by an inch or so. And boom, you could have taken the lead there. So it's not all on them. A lot of it's on Jackson Arnold. A lot of it's on the offensive line. The defense played fantastic all game. So you just can't blame them. You can't blame them, okay? Auburn also couldn't run block. They couldn't. They had negative rushing yards I believe going into the second half. So that's that. You cannot make up an excuse for that. And sorry, whatever you want to say, go ahead. It's what it is. All right. Now moving on, Miami beat Florida over the weekend. It's sluggish game, man. I watched this one at the Mickey Day in Asheville, and man, we stayed until probably 10 o'clock. I stayed there and watched with the owner, and man, Miami just absolutely. I mean, it wasn't even a pretty game at first. Florida, obviously, they have a really good defense. Offensively, for whatever reason, it's not working right now. The play calling isn't the greatest. DJ Lagway has not been on par. So Florida's got to figure it out offensively, man. They've got to figure it out. Now, Miami, on the other hand, give it to them. Defensively, they played a heck of a game. Offensively, late in the game, they stepped up. Carson Beck made a few key throws. They were running the ball well. That offensive line from Miami is pretty sound. So it's not on Florida. It's not all on Florida, okay? A little bit of it's, you give credit to Miami. You give credit for what they did. Obviously, they went out there and won the game. But when it comes to Florida, man, you just got to be better. And Miami went out there, and they give it to them. Sluggish game, but they give it to them. And Florida, late, while they were still in the game, 13-7, just didn't work out, okay? They had to go up in the game. They had a chance to go up in the game. It's going to work out. It's what it is. So what can you do? You move on. You move to the next one. All right, now, moving on. We talked about Arkansas. We talked about Alabama and their upcoming matchup this week. We talked about Auburn. Now, LSU, they've got a big matchup coming this week against Ole Miss. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be in the Grove. in Ole Miss. Okay, so now you've got a big one. Okay, and Lane Kiffin mentioned this early in the week. So they get Ole Miss gets the 2:30 game, and he makes a very valid point. LSU always gets the night game in this certain situation. Okay, if it's a top team in the country, it's always going to be a night game. Okay, well, Lane Kiffin didn't necessarily complain. I guess he did a little bit. Basically said, you know, why can't we get a night game? Is essentially what he's saying, and I kind of agree with him. Why can't Ole Miss get a night game? It's 2:30. It is what it is. I still think the place is going to be loud. Okay, Ole Miss is currently a favorite in this game. Yes, Ole Miss is a favorite. Okay. Excuse me. Ole Miss currently a 1.5-point favorite. Okay. Now, is Ole Miss going to win? Are they going to be able to build solid resume? Speaking of building, I want to mention Steel 174. Steel 174 and some phenomenal guys over in Steel, Alabama. Are you going to build your dream house, or are you wanting to? All you need is 47 screws, some nails, some wood, and 47 trips to the convenience store and the hardware store, because you got to get gas on the way. It's just terrible. What you can do, you can call Steel 174. You got Daniel Welch, Dawson Welch, Bobby Welch. All those guys are amazing. They make the process easy and enjoyable. You can't build that house. Okay, I'm sorry. When I say this, you can't do it. You can't build a house with cardboard, duct tape, or like a gingerbread house. It doesn't fit in with icing. You can't do that. Okay, what you need to do is you need to give Daniel, Dawson, and Bobby a call at Steel 174. Okay, still strong, still reliable, Steel 174. You can visit Steel 174 on Facebook. Some phenomenal company over there. It's been the Hayden Coker Show, presented to you by Lance Bell, Senator Lance Bell, that is. One of the best people I know, one of the best people he knows. Now, all right, Ole Miss. This is a game that can be sneaky for LSU, or not sneaky. This is a game for LSU that is one of those games, why are you not favored in this game? Let me tell you why. Because the offense has been non-existent. Okay, everybody brings up the win against Clemson early on in the season. Well, guess what, buddy? Clemson is a solid 1-3 right now, with losses to Syracuse, and then a few weeks ago they lost as well. Okay, they've had 3 losses on the season. This is not how Clemson's supposed to be this year. And I hate to say it, because I had a bunch of faith in Clemson. Clemson was one of my top teams in the country earlier on in the year. Okay, they were. And I made a crazy statement in the offseason, okay? I said that Clemson was one of the teams that I feel like would be number 1 going into the college football playoffs. Yeah, I said it. I know I'm an idiot. Whatever. It is what it is. But what's intriguing is how they are falling off. And Dabo Swinney, how he is making these statements in the press conference. It's like he's becoming public enemy number 1. Why is that? Because they feel like his team is disrespected, and obviously they're disrespected. They're 1-3. They've had a few tough losses, but now they got to get back on track, man. And I just don't see it happening this year. This looks right now it's looking like a 5-loss team. You're 4 games into the season if you're Clemson, and you have 3 losses. It's just not pretty, man. It's just not pretty. Anyways, Ole Miss, LSU, going to be one of the more fun games to watch over the weekend, and my eyes just get wide whenever I watch that game, because it's like this game is walking to me in some lingerie. It's good looking. You know what I mean? And maybe I shouldn't have said that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's a good looking game. It's a good looking game on paper. So I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a really nice game. Auburn at A&M, Washington at Ohio State. You have Alabama, and by the way, Washington at Ohio versus Ohio State. That's going to be a really fun game. Ohio State doing to Washington. Talk about that a little more in a minute. Bama versus Georgia, going to Georgia, Bama at Georgia. You have Florida State at Virginia tomorrow night. You got TCU at Arizona State. That'll be a fun one. I'm going to go with the Horned Frogs there. But being at Arizona State, I think that'll be a little bit closer of a game, okay? So bear with me on that one. It's going to be fun. Don't you worry, all right? Notre Dame at Arkansas, going to be another fun one. So Arkansas, one of those teams that guys, and I beg you, I plead with you, listen to me. Arkansas is not a bad football team. They're not a bad football team at all. I love this Arkansas team, man. I just think that they're going through some growing pains right now, okay? They have what it takes to be a solid team. Offensively, they do. Defensively, they've got a lot of work to do, man. And I miss the days of Bumper Poole being there a few years ago at linebacker, being that stud linebacker that Arkansas kind of absorbed their energy from on that defensive side of the football. Now they don't have Bumper Poole, okay? It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So now let's talk a little bit more about it, okay? Is Arkansas going to win this game? It's at Arkansas. Notre Dame is going on the road. Do they win this game? As much as I would absolutely love to say yes, I don't think they do, okay? I get it's in Hog Nation. It's in Fayetteville, but I don't see it happening. So I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think that Notre Dame wins this game. I think they win it outright. Notre Dame is currently a 4.5-point favorite. Yeah, it seems a little slim. I know. Why does it seem like that? Well, because Arkansas is a good team, man. Arkansas is a good team. And that is why it's like that. But obviously, not everybody's going to think that. I understand. Trust me, I completely get it. So, moving on, okay? I've got Notre Dame in that one. TCU wins at Arizona State. All right. Florida State at Virginia tomorrow night. Okay. And the Arizona State game against TCU, that's tomorrow night as well. So another Friday night game here. Florida State at Virginia. This is going to be a fun one. Okay. This is going to be one of those games that are a lot better than I think people are kind of making it out to be. It's going to be a really fun game, challenging game for the Noles as they go to Virginia. Now, can Florida State come away with the win? All right, well, let's just talk about it for a second. FSU currently is 7-point favorite according to Yahoo Sports. 7-point favorite on the road against the Cavaliers. Now, everybody's going to say this team obviously not that great. We get it. I know, trust me. But I'm telling you, the Cavaliers, they've got something cooking over there. And I'm not saying they're going to be a great football team this year. I just don't think they will be. But I think they're going to challenge some of the bigger teams in the ACC. So do me a favor out there. Everybody go look up, go watch a little film on this Virginia team. I think they might shock you. They nearly beat NC State a few games ago. Offense was on fire. Give it up a little bit defensively late in the game. It's all right. It's okay. Virginia loses that game. They lose this game too. Florida State wins. Going to be a close one. Going to be a really close game, okay? So I'm going to go with Florida State. I'm going to go with a close game. I think Florida State scores late to pull away. All right. Now, Washington at Ohio State. Shout out to everybody in the live chat, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. I appreciate you very much. Now, all right. Washington versus Ohio State. It's going to be played in Washington. Massive game, okay? I'm excited for this one because let me tell you why. Washington currently hoists a 22-game home winning streak, okay? So a 22-game home winning streak. That's the second longest in the nation, only aside from the Georgia Bulldogs, who also play a really challenging game on Saturday. So that's why I find this game intriguing. For one, Damon Williams he's phenomenal. I need you guys to get Williams. Jonah Williams, he's phenomenal as well. So I really need you guys to get familiar with this Washington team. All right, now, prediction time. Who's going to win this game? Why are they going to win the game? I think that Ohio State ends up pulling it off. Now, why is that? All right, defensively, I think they're a little bit too much, okay? I think defensively they're able to shut down Washington. They score a little too much for Washington. Washington keeps it close, but I think that Ohio State eventually, in the end, wins the game and pulls away. I know, I hate it. I'm sorry. If you're Husky, don't attack me. I understand. Trust me. Now, USC at Illinois. This is another good game in the Big Ten. USC getting a win last week. Now you're moving on Illinois with what happened, okay? What happened to Illinois over the last weekend, okay? Indiana, on Indiana's home field in Bloomington, blew the doors off an Illinois Fighting Illini team that I never thought was possible, guys. Brett Bielema went in there and laid an absolute egg, okay? Luke Altmaier wasn't up to standard. That offensive line wasn't up to standard. The defense gave up 63 points, obviously not up to standard, okay? So what is going on here with this Illinois team? Okay, they've got to get it figured out. They stink right now, okay? It was putrid what they put on the field. Now, you want to know what's even more egregious? Let's talk about it. The AP Top 25 is horrible. All right, so I'll say this, and I'm going to leave the top 20 or the AP Top 25 at being horrible because we all know that. The AP Top 25 has Illinois ranked. I believe it is 23 right now. 23 or 24. Excuse me. You know who's not ranked right now? Auburn. All right, I understand. I get it. Attack me all you want to. I get it. I understand. Here's the thing. Illinois lost by 53 points to the Indiana Hoosiers. Not taking away from anything that Kurt Cignetti and the boys over there in Bloomington did. 53 points to Indiana. Auburn lost by 7 points to one of the best teams in the nation with the best defensive line in the nation by 7 points. And it took a late safety to cover the 6.5-point spread. You mean to tell me that the Illinois Fighting Illini deserve? I'm so sorry. You mean to tell me that the Illinois Fighting Illini deserves a top 25 spot over the Auburn Tigers after their performance last week? Give me a freaking break, dude. Give me a freaking break. I know the AP Top 25 guys, they don't watch every single top 25 game out there. I know a lot of people aren't able to. I'm not able to. I'm a busy guy. I have other stuff going on, okay? But I'm able to at least look at what's going on and get a good idea of it, okay? So I can watch, for one, I can go rewatch some games or some replays of games. I can do that. I can look at statistics, some information. I understand what's going on, okay? I'm not just guessing at some of these teams. What is the AP Top 25 doing? All right? Man, grow a pair and just admit you don't watch ball. Illinois is not a top 25 team. Illinois might be a top 50 team right now. But you know what Illinois did? They went out there, they laid an egg, and all props go to to the Indiana Hoosiers and the fighting Kurt Cignetti's, okay? Kurt Cignetti. All right. I understand. Look at what happened last year in the playoffs. Look at what happened last year against all these top 25 teams, the two that they played. I get it, dude. I promise I get it. Now, you have a chance this week if you're Indiana to go out there and prove some people wrong. Again, you go up against a decent Iowa team that people say are on their kind of middle of the pack in the Big Ten. People were kind of saying that Indiana's sort of the middle of the pack. You're going to put them at 5, that's not top, okay? I put anywhere from 5 to 12 is the middle of the pack. 5 to 10, okay? If you're anywhere beyond that, you just suck, all right? Sorry, Northwestern. Sorry, Rutgers. I apologize. Not sorry. All right, moving on, because I cannot spend another minute giving the AP Top 25 any sort of recognition over that because they suck. All right, anyways, Indiana and Iowa going with the Hoosiers, okay? We have LSU at Ole Miss picking a little later. Oregon at Penn State, man. Dante Moore, quarterback for the Oregon Ducks. All right, let me break it down for you. He's one of the most accurate and precise quarterbacks in America. Look at the other side quarterback. Drew Aller, one of the most overrated quarterbacks in America. As my buddy Juan walks in the Buffalo Wild Wings here in Pell City. What's going to happen in this game, all right? Oregon, Penn State, 6, 7. Who's going to win the game? I'm telling you right now, all right? Let's look at this Oregon team offensively, okay? They've got one of the best freshman wide receivers in America. You've got Evan Stewart. He's going to be one of the better wide receivers in America by the time it's all said and done. Excuse me. Penn State now. You've got a better wide receiver core, okay? Your quarterback, both of your running backs are back, okay? And here's the thing about Penn State, okay? Nick Singleton, Katrin Allen, I get it. One of the best running back duos in America, all right? You're not going to win the game like that here. You're not going to win the game on the ground. And I don't feel like Drew Aller has the arm to do it, okay? He's been overrated for years. I've sat there and said it myself. I don't get the hype over Drew Aller. I love the kid, but I don't get the hype over. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. Obviously, I'm an armchair, whatever you want to call it. I just don't see it happening. Give me the Oregon Ducks. I think they go into Beaver Stadium at night during a whiteout, and they beat this Penn State team. All right? Penn State, not going to win. Give me the Oregon Ducks. I think they got it good in this game. All right? Now, moving on. UT and Mississippi State. So, Tennessee going to Starkville to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Mississippi State Bulldogs with a fantastic win a few weeks ago over Arizona State. You get a win last week, too. So, now, how are you going to respond after a few really good big wins? You're undefeated on the season. Tennessee has that one blemish on their record right now. And who is it? The Georgia Bulldogs, okay? I'm going to go with the Volunteers here. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think they have what it takes to win this game, not without a fight, okay? This Mississippi State-led football team, they're fierce, they're feisty, and I think they have what it takes to make it a game, but I'm going with the Tennessee Volunteers. Shout out to everybody here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We highly appreciate those guys for all that they do. This is the Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Lance Bell. Senator Lance Bell, one of the best people I know, one of the best people that he knows. Now, what is going to happen in this Auburn versus Texas A&M game? Auburn going on the road to College Station, okay? They play the Texas A&M Aggies. Oh, but, man, let's take a look at Texas A&M. Offensively, one of the best in the nation, okay? You've got, man, and let me just stop here. Let me just stop here before I go into this, okay? I need to settle down. I'm gonna grab a sip of the sweet tea before I go. HCS Media on YouTube. Hayden Coker on Facebook. Middle of the show. We got to get on that, guys. Just a little plug for ourselves. You know what I mean? All right. Texas A&M. All right. Auburn. What's going to happen in this game? I think, bear with me, so you got a very, very, very dynamic wide receiver duo, KC Concepcion, okay? He's good. Well, he's great. He's phenomenal. All right. Then you also have Mario Craver, the guy out of Clay Chalkville, went to Mississippi State last year, transfers to A&M this year, okay? Now it's a little bit different, okay? Then you have Marcel Reed, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, so they say. One of the best quarterbacks in the Heisman race. Some people have thrown him at the top of the Heisman conversation, okay? Who is doing that after a 17 of 37 performance in a game in South Bend? I don't know. I don't know why they do that. It's not up to me, okay? If I were a Heisman voter, I'd certainly tell you something otherwise. Now, Marcel Reed, he's a great quarterback. Is he going to be able to find his legs in this game? Is he going to be able to stand on his feet? The Auburn defensive line is good. Not as good as Oklahoma's is. The Auburn defensive line is good, all right? And I'm looking for, and bear with me when I say this, Keldrick Falk, okay? I'm looking for that guy to be in the backfield all night long, okay? He's got to be if this Auburn team wants to win the game. He's got to be nothing short of fantastic. So nothing short of fantastic there for Keldrick Falk, for guys like DeMarcus Riddick at the quarterback position. He's phenomenal. Now let's talk about it, okay? In the secondary, is Auburn going to be able to hold up? I don't necessarily think so. They didn't play very well last week, or the secondary didn't play very well last week against the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, I get it. The Oklahoma Sooners are the Oklahoma Sooners. John Mateer was able to go. He's injured because he's one of the best quarterbacks in America, and I firmly believe that. Now, is Auburn going to be able to pull this off, or is Texas A&M going to go out there and show people that they're one of the best teams in America? All right. Texas A&M, they lead the game late, all right? Let me tell you something about this Auburn team that I think that not many people are kind of focusing in on, okay? The run game is freaking electric. The run game's electric. You have a guy named Cam Coleman, who, when his quarterback is accurate, is one of the best wide receivers in America. He's one of the best wide receivers in America alone. He showed it last week. He went underthrown balls and made plays, okay? This is a Cam Coleman. This is a wide receiver who is phenomenal, one of the best wide receivers in the country, up there with Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, okay? So tell me why Auburn loses this game. Tell me why Auburn wins this game, mind me. Let me tell you, all right? Cam Coleman gets found for 2 or 3 touchdowns, all right? The run game gets going. A&M's not the greatest against the run. And Auburn, if they would have had a run game last week, props to Oklahoma's defensive line, they would have won that game. But Oklahoma's defensive front was great. Tonight, Saturday night, Auburn wins against Texas A&M. They went outright. Now, straight up, Alabama, Georgia, let's go into it. So the Alabama Crimson Tide are going into hostile territory in Athens, Georgia. All right, Athens, Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs. We all know about them, guys. Gunnar Stockton, he's been playing like one of the better quarterbacks in America. Is he one of the better quarterbacks in America? He's got a nice deep ball. Don't sleep on it, okay? Here's the thing. Georgia can also run the ball. Nate Frazier, God, it's a stud, okay? Josh McCray coming over from Illinois. Dude is a dog, man. He's big. He's a big body back now. But Nate Frazier and those guys, they can run the ball. And I feel like if Nate Frazier gets behind that offensive line, like I think they will, and they will push that Alabama defensive front, Georgia will win this game. Will that happen? Because I glanced down at the iPad. I've got a little something to tell you about if this is going to happen or not, okay? Gunnar Stockton, keep your eyes on him. I think he has a historic night. I think they beat Alabama in Athens. The Dogs are going to be barking on Saturday night. And unfortunately for Alabama, you dropped the 2 losses on the season. And if you're the AP, you're probably going to drop them close to 25. But if you're the ACS Power 12, you're going to have them just outside the Power 12 because you know what this Alabama team is capable of and you know where they stand, okay? The AP is stupid. The top 25 is stupid. Why does the AP top 25 do that? I don't know. I don't know why they are dumb. They don't use their brain, but it is what it is, okay? Now we move on. Ohio State. They're going to get a win against Washington, okay? Let's take a look at some other games, all right? I went over Florida State and Virginia. I went over Notre Dame and Arkansas, USC, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, LSU, Ole Miss. Who's going to win this game? All right. Whit Weeks. Ooh, buddy. Oh, man. So, Livy Dunn. Wow, what am I talking about? All right, so Landry Kiffin, daughter of Lane Kiffin, is currently dating the LSU starting linebacker, Whit Weeks. Now, this is Lane Kiffin talking. There was a tweet put out earlier about this in the week. Okay, Lane Kiffin replied to said tweet and said, take the over to a tweet of Landry Kiffin posed with the LSU linebacker. Now, who's going to win this game, mind you? All right. I've got the Ole Miss Rebels. All right. I've got the Land Sharks. I think they win this game. I think they beat the LSU Tigers. Ole Miss currently favored by 1.5 against the LSU Tigers in the Grove, in Oxford. I think that Ole Miss gets it done. Defensively, they've got a lot of work to do, okay? And this game is going to be featured with a lot of points, a lot of scoring. Garrett Nussmeier may throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns. But let me tell you, Trinidad Chambliss, backup quarterback for the Ole Miss Rebels, now starter for the Ole Miss Rebels because of Austin Simmons' injury, is an absolute workhorse. The guy's an absolute dog. He can run it with his feet. He's super quick. He can throw the ball. Mind you, Trinidad Chambliss transferred from Ferris State in the offseason. Now it's Ole Miss time to shine. Now it might be Ole Miss's time to make the playoffs this year. Oh, but they barely beat an Arkansas team earlier in the year. Yeah, they barely beat an Arkansas team that's one of the best teams, not one of the best teams in the SEC. That is a good SEC team, okay? Now, I nearly got ahead of myself, so I'm going to have to slow down. I'm going to have to take it to Buffalo Wild Wings sweet tea. But dadgummit, let me tell you, the Ole Miss team is good. Trinidad Chambliss is good. This is an Ole Miss team that will win this game. They will insert themselves into the playoff conversation. They will insert themselves as a top 10 team. Top 5, maybe. Not so sure about that. But top 10 team after they beat the Louisiana State Tigers on Saturday night. Ole Miss is building something, man. You know who else is building something right now? Steel 174. I talked to Daniel before the show. Man, they're out working right now. They aren't watching the show. They're out working. Maybe they got it on in the background. Daniel, I hope you are. All right. If you're wanting to build a house, you're not going to want to take all those trips to the hardware store. You got to stop and get gas on the way. You don't want to do that, okay? What you can do is you can rely on Daniel, Dawson, and Bobby Welch to make the process simple and easy. YouTube can't show you how to fix a house, or build a house. But you know what? Daniel, Dawson, and Bobby at Steel 174, they can do it all for you, okay? Still strong, still reliable, Steel 174. The guys are great. I highly suggest going to give those guys a look on Facebook at Steel 174. All right, the Hayden Coker Show. What was that you saw earlier on in the show? All right, it was a little karaoke action that I had. All right, now I get it. It's karaoke action. All right, I love karaoke. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit more of this here in just a second. All right, karaoke action coming to you live right now.
Riding on a tractor, lean all in my bladder, cheating on my baby. You can go and ask her. I'm in the mood, go right in the mood. Laying on my baby, ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Ain't nobody tell me nothing.
That was karaoke, ladies and gentlemen. That's my favorite thing to do in the off season. All right, when I'm not doing this, I'm singing. All right, I'm singing karaoke. Now it's not about how you sound; it's about the performance. Because if it was about how you sound, the whole Coliseum would have just ran out. All right, now what's happening tonight? Okay, we've got the Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals playing right now. You have East Carolina and Army playing right now. And guys, Blake Carroll, head coach at East Carolina, man, that guy's good. All right, he's got East Carolina rolling. East Carolina currently up on Army 21-0 here in the second quarter. 7 minutes to go. 4th and 8 for the Army Black Knights. Army not what they were last year, and that's kind of evident. But that's just that, guys. We took a look at the ACS Power 12 earlier. I'll put it back up here just in a second. If you guys want to look at that, that's the karaoke for you. But like I said, you got USF at 12, Indiana 11, Tennessee 10, Florida State 9, A&M 8, Penn State 7. You got Oklahoma 6, Miami at 5. You have Georgia at 4, LSU 3, Oregon at 2 for good reason, and Ohio State at 1. Now, I understand. I get it. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. Comment your top 12, okay? Because we will not sit here and be scrutinized not have another one. That's fine though. I understand it's all fun and games. I love to see y'all's guys' rankings. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think about it. Obviously, we're going to have one on Sunday morning again after the game Saturday. We've got a bunch going on Saturday. A massive slate, one of the greatest slates of all time. So I need you guys to be dialed in this weekend, all right? Auburn, they're going to beat A&M. ACS has them, okay? Bama and Georgia. HCS has Georgia playing that game. They've got Georgia winning that game. They've got Georgia playing the hell out of that game and winning, okay? So those are my picks for tonight. Come Sunday. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I went to an Alabama game the other night, a few weeks ago against Wisconsin. So this is what this little comment is about here. Don't worry, Auburn fans. I've not traded in my fandom. I'm still bleeding orange and blue. All right, for Eagles. Jared Smith, stop trying to turn the Auburn crowd against me, okay? I already have enough people against me as it is. All right, now, I appreciate you for joining us, okay? All of you wonderful people, you beautiful people, thank you. I really do appreciate it. This has been the Hayden Coker Show presented to you by Senator Lance Bell. Senator Lance Bell, we love him. Everybody loves him. He loves him. All right. This has been the Hayden Coker Show. I will see you guys next week. We'll be back same time at Buffalo Wild Wings here in Pell City at 7 o'clock Central Time. Tomorrow, I've got a game to call, okay? Play-by-play with the Mount Zion Tigers tomorrow night. Or, excuse me, the Mount Zion Eagles tomorrow night. So that's going to be a fun one. And I'll let you guys know how that goes next week. So, the Mount Zion Eagles, massive game for them. They play Greenville. These are teams out of Georgia. Cannot wait for that game. Yeah, I'll let you guys know how that goes. I appreciate you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week. Y'all take care. Peace. And don't go anywhere, all right? Stay with us. We'll be back next week. Thank you, guys.